start recording this. So again, this is the Wonderlic test that you guys are going to be taking. It is about what is it about? So this is what they give NFL players when they come into the draft before they actually get drafted. It measures practical intelligence. So it measures how they think about intelligence, what they like, how they retain information in a very short amount of time. Especially in the NFL, you have to have some sort of like practical intelligence to know when something is going to happen. And so you have to retain information really, really well. So what I want you guys to do is click on that link. You guys are going to take this test. It's 50 questions in 12 minutes. So it seems like a lot, but just take it and just see what everyone's doing. All right, we'll see how everyone's doing. We'll talk about it afterward, because since this is talking about IQ and why IQ is important or not important, and then you guys can just do that. So, all right. Danny, what questions you have? Gonna unmute yourself now. Did you just say what?
Wait, so you know how we're timed on it?
Yeah.
What if you opened it, but you didn't start it? Because I went back to the Zoom meeting.
Just restart it. Honestly, I'm not grading you guys on this. It's more of just to see, like, it's a test, and that's all it is. It's not like oh my God, if you get this wrong, then I'm gonna like.
It's just more off of completion.
Yeah, it's more of just like I just want you guys to see like what your quote unquote what your practical intelligence is. So it's not like you're graded on it or anything.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I'm pretty dumb. I wouldn't make it to NFL.
So why don't you guys do this? So just take the test, and then we'll talk about what it means afterward, okay? So it's 50 questions in 12 minutes. You can start over if you want, if you need to. That's totally fine.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I refreshed it, but my time right now is 8 minutes, and I haven't started it.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's crazy, but I don't remember
Do it
asking.
again, Eliana. I don't know. Do it again. The test actually isn't that hard. Like, the questions, it just takes a while. Like, it just takes a while for you to think about it and retain the information, and then, like, put it.
Easy for you to say you're a teacher.
Huh?
Easy for you to say you're a teacher and you went to college.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean that. There's plenty of people who go to college and don't have any practical intelligence. I'll tell you that right now.
Hey, Neach, what's a low IQ?
On like a regular IQ test, it's I think below.
It's Ivan.
I think below a 6. Stop it, Danny. I believe a low of 60 is considered mentally handicapped.
I got a 40.
And then, but again, does it actually measure anything like that? No. Sometimes you could just be. I don't think the IQ test really means anything.
What's an antonym?
Necessarily, but huh?
What's an antonym?
I'm not answering that. You just got to answer. This is why I'm shutting everybody off again, because y'all are trying to give each other answers.
It's because it's hard.
Yeah, well, again, I'm not grading you on it. Just do what you can. I'm not grading you on it. Just do what you can. So I'm giving you guys until 10:30, and then we'll come back and talk about it when everyone is done. Yeah, Sammy gave you the answer, Ivan, or at least the idea of it. Yes. Okay, so you guys have like 2 more minutes. Finish up what you want to finish up. If you're not getting to the end, don't worry about it. Just do what you can. We'll start talking about this, and we'll see where people end up. I thought this was just interesting and different. You can unmute yourself now.
I'm done, but didn't
Sorry,
say anything.
Didn't say anything at the end?
Yeah.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Yeah, mine didn't either.
It didn't say anything either, Sandy?
No.
What the heck? Okay.
Yeah, I finished.
You finished, but nothing at the end?
No, yeah, it does. You just have to scroll and see.
Oh yeah, I got 26.
All right, so I'm gonna give you guys. I'll tell you guys when you start like looking through everything. I'll give you guys what exactly good score is, what the usual score is, and again, for those of you who didn't hear what I said before, this is the test that they usually give to NFL players before they get drafted.
My score was 1.
What?
My score was 1.
A 1?
Yes.
Yvonne, you know, basically that you basically considered illiterate at that point.
I
I got a
am.
score of 16.
Okay. So again, it's not measuring all intelligence. This is not like again, early in the morning. I threw this on you guys. You didn't prepare for it at all. So I would tell you not to worry too much about it. It's not. It doesn't matter like too much, right? But
Yeah, I think once I'm accurate.
but here is what good scores are on the Wonderlic test. So some people have scored 50. It's because it's 51 to 50 basically is the scores and everything. Some people have scored 50s into the 49s and the 48s and like all the way through. The average score for NFL players when they take this test for quarterbacks is 25.9. For running backs is 17.5. For wide receivers is 19.7. For tight ends, 26.7. For offensive linemen, it's 26.8. So that's the highest. So in order to be this, like, you have to basically be the smartest. For O linemen, have to be the smartest. They have the average scores usually. They're the smartest guys. But it also does it not only just by NFL players, but by certain professions too. So if you get a job, sometimes they make you take a Wonderlic test in order to see what your competency is for retaining information. So one is a systems analyst. Systems analyst usually score 32. A chemist scores a 31. An electrical engineer scores a 30. An accountant scores a 28. This is the averages, just not like overall. Executives score 28. Teacher score 28. Copywriter score 27. Salesperson 25. Secretary 24. Dispatcher 23. Drafter 23. Electrician 23. Nurse 23. Cashier 21. Firefighter 21. Receptionist 21. Train conductor 21. Craftsman 18. Security guard 17. Warehouseman 15. And a janitor at 14. So that's the usual test scores for this. There are the people who've gotten the lowest scores in the NFL, at least. One of them is, for those of you who are Niner fans, Frank Gore scored a 6. And then Vince Young, the quarterback from...
we're not too far apart.
Vince Young, the quarterback from a couple years ago, from the early 2000s, scored a 6 as well. So this is not surprising sometimes. So yeah, I mean, it's suggesting is just practical intelligence. It's not suggesting that you are smarter than anyone else or anything like that. Like all it's saying is just, it's trying to measure some sort of practical intelligence that you might have in your in your life. And so I think that this is kind of a cool test. At least, did anyone else get any scores? Did they see what they got? Or anyone want to share?
I got a 6.
You got a 6? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, again, I wasn't about it. I just told you guys that.
Ivan, you got a 1.
I got 18.
Yeah, Vaughn, you got a 1, so no one can talk about that. Who got an 18?
Me.
Scammed. Get scammed.
Okay. Who got a 26? Was that Speedy?
I got 16.
Yeah, Speedy.
I got 20. 21.
20? Sam, you got a 20?
Yeah.
Sammy got 0.
Anyone else want to share theirs? So this isn't surprising, especially when you guys just literally, I gave you the link and you took it, and so I wouldn't worry too much about it. They usually prep guys in the NFL before this, like weeks ahead.
Well, I got a 1 each. I think I should be worried.
No, I think you'll be fine. Don't worry. You did it. It's early in the morning. I just sprang it on you. You know, it is what
You guys know any barbershops that are open?
Your mom.
Again, all right, Sammy and Yvonne, I'm about to kick you guys out if you keep talking. So stop talking. And stop being annoying. All right. So here is why I did this today. I did this because I felt like it was important, at least for us to discuss the ideas of practical intelligence versus Danny, you too. I'm about to kick you out as well, so stop. Practical intelligence versus academic intelligence. Those are two different things. And this chapter, for those of you who have read it, because I know there were some of you who read it, Some of you have not, and you need to start reading. This whole chapter is about what makes people like. This is about a guy who is not successful and one of the smartest people on earth. He has had the highest IQ that's ever been recorded, with a 195 IQ. But of course, that means that he had issues with with just his practicality side. He was very, very smart academically, but practically speaking, he didn't know how to work the system. Like, he didn't know how to sign up for college classes, really. He didn't know how, like, to check on his financial aid that his mom was supposed to check on, and like he never checked on it. And like all these excuses that he seems to come up with seem to put up barriers for himself. And it's because he lacked practical intelligence, even though he was extremely smart. The practical intelligence never came there. Did any of you expect, like, this before you read this or anything before? Did you ever expect, like, if somebody's a genius, they pretty much are going to make it, like, no matter what? Did anybody really expect that? Or because but honestly, before I read this book, I kind of just assumed that. I assumed that if somebody's smart enough, no matter where they come from, unless they were extremely unlucky, they were going to make it in some way, because somebody will find them and give them an opportunity. But that often does not happen. So does anyone else? Did anyone else think that too before you started reading this? No, you all were smarter than I was, I guess. All right. So I know people are really, like, not willing to participate today. Second period was just like this too. So what did everyone think about the chapter with Chris Langan, and also about his interview as well from the other day? Yvonne, do you have anything to say about his interview? You've been talking this whole time. Oh, wait, crap. I can't. Hold on. This is why you guys aren't answering.
Hold
Come on, Neach.
hold the L.
All right. Who does anyone have any responses?
Wait, what was your score?
My score?
Yeah.
I haven't taken it. I probably take it. I haven't taken it in a while.
Take it.
I've taken it before, and I got like a 31. No big deal. But no, I honestly, like,
so loud.
if I took it again, I probably would have been like a 22. Honestly, like,
Oh,
something
wow.
like,
You're gonna be a quarterback?
hey man, I don't know. You know. All right. So did anyone have any opinions on Chris Langan or his interview, or any? What do you guys think about him as a person? Now you all are quiet. Dang it. Yvonne, what did you think?
What was the question again?
What did you think about Chris Langan? Or
Boring guy.
boring?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I mean, it's just the things, like, it's not interesting towards me. It's not, like, really relevant for me, I guess.
You can read, boy.
Why is that, Yvonne? Why do you
So you
think?
got a one.
Why is it what?
Why do you think it wasn't relevant for you? Like, what about it didn't make it relevant?
That's a good question. I mean, it's just like, I think perspective is the biggest thing.
Okay.
Of how he interprets things and how I interpret things.
Okay. That's fair. Like, what, his ideas of God and stuff like that, basically?
Yeah.
Okay. You got to remember, this dude is ridiculously smart, and like you can tell just in the way he's talking, like, he's on another level of intelligence that many people can't match, and that's
I know I'm a one. I can't.
but that's not what they're asking for, right? They're not asking for that. What they're asking is to see, how he retains information, and seeing, like, I think the guy who was doing the interview was kind of like a little ridiculous. He's like, oh, do you see things around me right now? It's like, okay, he's not like a magician. Like, I don't get what he was trying to go with that. But I think
I think he was just trying to make fun of him.
No, I don't think he was trying to make fun of him. Do you think so?
I mean, if he was like, oh yeah, you could see things around, like maybe he was like sarcastic in a way.
No way. Yeah, maybe he was. I don't know. I
Like-
didn't pick up on the sarcasm, but maybe he did. So for you guys, do you feel like did anyone expect like if somebody was a genius before you read this to like like somebody if somebody like was a genius, they pretty much were going to be successful? Did anyone think that or no?
Yes.
You did, NIE?
hmm
Why?
Because I think when someone is smart enough, they're gonna be successful.
Yeah. Anyone else? So I feel like this was a good point. I mean, I honestly like I just figured at some point somebody will find something who's super smart and they're smart enough where they can kind of figure it out. But that's not always the case. It's just sometimes you get really lucky and you are there at the right place at the right time. And, you know, this is a guy who probably, you know, is probably smarter than a guy like Bill Gates in a way. And I like the analogy that they made that do you guys understand the analogy that Gladwell made when he was talking about basketball players? Like at some point, like height only matters so much, right? A guy who's a guy who's 6'3",
Yeah, I like that analogy.
and compared to a guy who's 7'1", at some point the height, like if you're below 6'3" or 6'1", probably more likely now because there's a couple short guys who are really good in the NBA, but like after a certain point, if you're below 6'1", you're probably never going to make it to the NBA or be successful in the NBA. But anywhere above like 6 foot or 6'1" or 6'3" is where like it doesn't matter anymore how tall you are because LeBron is 6'10", right?
Well,
but
he brought up Jordan in the book.
Huh?
He had brought up Jordan in the book.
Right. Well, this is again. He wrote this book when LeBron was just like kind of still not all the way like Jordan, or he wasn't LeBron yet, right? So, like LeBron is 6'10", but that doesn't mean that he is any less successful than a guy who's 7'3" or 7'1". In fact, he's more successful than most of them. At some point, height doesn't matter. It's other things that come into play at a certain point. But you have to be at a certain level, at a certain height, in order to be successful. So it's like you have to have a certain IQ to be considered a genius. But just because you are like, you know, quote unquote 30 points higher than Einstein doesn't mean you're more successful than Einstein. Does that make sense? So like Chris Langan is like a guy who's like 7'3" in the NBA and it's pretty good, but never really learned how to use his talent and didn't have any other talents besides just being super tall, right? But then you have Einstein who was tall also, but then he just had more skills than Einstein had more skills than Chris Langan did in other aspects. So that's what this
Booker's 6'5", and he's
Huh?
the best player. Devin Booker's like
Devin Booker?
6'5", and he's the best.
I knew you'd bring up Devin Booker. But yeah, so Devin Booker, but yeah, if Devin Booker was 5'10", he probably would not be as successful in the NBA because he wasn't tall enough. And going back to the other chapters, he wasn't tall enough, didn't get enough practice, and therefore didn't have all the coaching that he could have. But he was 6'5". He was probably taller than most kids in his class. And then even getting to the NBA, he's like average height. You know, that's just the crazy part is that like if you're 6'5", you're considered average height in the NBA. Yeah, I mean that's just at some point everyone is. It's like you know being a genius is the same thing as being in the NBA in a way. It's you know everyone's tall at that point, but then height doesn't matter at some point. It matters the other stuff, the other skills that you have. And I think that is really important. That's a great analogy and one that I think was interesting for everybody to kind of get perspective on what that meant. So does everyone understand that?
Yeah.
Does anyone else have anything else they want to point out about the chapter? Anything else you guys want to talk about? Any
I
questions?
didn't get your homework.
Huh?
I didn't get the homework.
Okay, didn't get the whole. All right, Ez.
Okay.
No need to tag Neach.
So the homework
Yeah.
that you guys had to do with the termites one, right?
Yeah.
So basically, all it's asking, it's saying, all right, so they were as a group, the termites that you guys had to read about, which you guys should have read. The termites were a group of people that they expected to be super successful. So the expectation was that, like for the first one, the expectation was they would become the future elite of the United States. But in reality, what
They
happened?
were average people.
That don't answer the question. Let other people answer it. But yes,
Well,
that,
you asked the question.
I know. But
I
this
mean,
is
don't talk
homework.
back, dude.
So yes, basically Ivana's right. They became average. They were pretty similar to the rest of the world. Some became elites, just like the rest of the world. Like some of them became elite people, but some of them didn't. Some of them became like had regular jobs, and some even were considered just a failure, just in general. So not everyone who had this high IQ turned out to be very, very successful. And I think that's what this is asking. It's telling you to like see what the expectations were of the termites and then say what the actual reality was in the end. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let me know if you need more help with that.
Teacher, I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How are we supposed to give you the book back if we don't see you no more?
Honestly, I think we might have a day where you guys just show up and turn the books in. If that is what ends up happening. And again,
I don't want to contract the
keeping it-
disease.
again,
I'm not taking any chances.
there might be a chance that that we come back at some point near the end of the year. Whether that's likely, I can't tell you. I have no idea. We all don't know right now. So it's kind of all in the air, but we'll figure it out, Yadi. I'm not that worried about it. If anything, I'll come to your guys' house and like I'll grab it. And go. If that's what ends up coming down to. I don't know. So it's just a wait and see at this point. I really don't know how. Don't worry about it right now. We'll worry about that when we cross that bridge. We still got 2 months basically of school left, so we got some time to figure out what we're doing. So anyone else have questions? Is everyone doing all right? Everyone's doing okay?
No.
You miss
They
school
give
enough?
too much homework. Neach.
dog.
Too much homework?
This is what
Yeah.
my morning
Like
consists of.
real thing. Like
Miller
real
gives too
real
much
talk, Neach. Like there's a lot of homework and like we have other things to do. Like
I get it.
there's still a bunch of things we gotta do for sex day, and then like a lot of us, we gotta work, we gotta help out.
I know, but you got to remember too that we're trying to make sure you guys finish high school.
Yeah, but don't need to give
Get
like
to
that
that.
much homework.
Well, your homework. Well, hopefully, your homework replaces your time in class.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
once it takes like 3 hours to do, it's too much. Because
Right,
like for
but
example,
you have seven.
for example,
We usually have 7 hours worth of class.
Yeah, but then you guys
Neach, for
extend it to
example,
the weekend.
yeah,
Well,
for example,
I'm trying not to
Mueller's
make sure you
class,
guys have anything over the weekend. Except for me.
Mueller's class, she gives us like 4 different assignments in the week, and each assignment is like 3 different parts. So that's hella.
That's a lot. Look, we're all trying to figure it out, and I would tell you to actually reach out to Miss Mueller and tell her that it might be too much. Because if anything, Miss Mueller will listen. So
Boy does that too.
Yeah, she gotta listen.
I mean, look, we're all trying to figure it out. Everyone is trying to figure out what works for this. I will tell you guys right now, my sister still goes 9 to 3 every single day at St. Francis, and then has homework too. So
Oh wow.
it's a lot. It sucks. I have to tell you, like, I don't know how she does it, but she's getting used to it. But I will
You
tell
have
you,
a sister, Neach?
yes, I do.
Stop.
We're gonna pick her diplomas up, Dre.
Just saying.
Yeah, Sammy, get away.
Neach gonna beat you up.
So yeah, I mean, look, I know this is a lot. I would tell you to reach out to people who you feel like it's just overwhelming. Like, do you guys feel like my stuff's overwhelming at all, or no? Like, what do you think?
No.
Not really.
Nah.
Okay, I'm trying just to make sure everyone's like, I want to give you guys work, like where you're doing stuff, but make it like where it's not
Yeah.
too much.
No, yeah. You and Lovelace, you guys are like chill. You guys are good, but like everybody else, like Hernandez and Mueller, like they be tripping. It's too much.
Okay. But look, I would tell you to reach out to them. Reach out to if you feel like Mueller, Boyd, like they'll all listen. Like they're people. They're gonna like just like talk to them. And if you really feel like that it's too much, you can just talk to them about it and see where it goes. So, yeah. But look, we're all figuring it out. It's only like what was this week 3? I think of this.
2.5, I'd say.
2.5. Yeah, we're going on the third week of this type of learning, and it's hard. I mean,
spring break.
yeah, and then spring break will be nice, and I think after spring break, like there's stuff that I'm doing that like at least I'm getting ahead, and then once we get ahead, maybe we'll look at it and be like, wow, this is just a lot of work for everybody, and like I'm seriously trying to minimize just the amount of work I have. We all don't want to grade that much. We're all trying to, we're all at home. Like what? I don't know. We all don't want to grade.
Hey,
So,
Francis.
huh? Yeah.
What did you say, Yachty?
Your sister goes to St. Francis, right?
Yes.
She knows her.
Mm-hmm.
It's because
You know her?
Yachty's friends with Emily. She used to go to Christian and she went to St. Francis. That's how she knows her.
Oh,
Is she a senior, Neach?
It's not like she's hard.
Neach, is she a senior?
No, she's a sophomore. So that's why stay away.
Sophomore.
Sorry, Sammy.
Well, Danny reached
Seriously,
17.
I'm about to Danny and Sammy and all of you who are saying gross stuff. I'm about to kick you out, and you're about to get a 0 for the day. So stop.
Ivan, you're gonna catch a case.
We're not confident. We're not saying nasty stuff.
Yeah, I know you're saying that stuff behind the scenes too, messaging each other and stuff like that too. Bro.
None of us have phones.
No.
Yeah,
We can't use our phones during class, Neach.
those are all.
He's so smart.
All right, y'all. Hey, so honestly, I hope you guys are doing well, and we'll, I think if you guys have questions about this, so let me go through next week. I'll let you guys know what's going on. So this week you have to finish your quizzes. If you have not turned in the assignment from last night, turn that in today. I'm going to take off points, but it won't be as much if you just get a 0. You also next week, I have a YouTube video that I'm putting out. You guys are doing an activity, and then that's it. Like we don't have class, we don't have any of that stuff. We go through Monday to Wednesday, and then there's nothing on Thursday, Friday, since it is considered spring break those days. But I'm going to put it out on Sunday, so that way you guys can get ahead on it, and hopefully you can literally get it done by Monday and be done with my classes on spring break for me. At least that's my hope. So let me know if you guys have questions about that. Make sure you take your quiz this weekend, and then y'all are good. Okay, sound fair?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, let me know if you have questions. I hope everyone's doing well, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Okay.
Soon will talk to us.
Huh?
Soon will talk to us.
Who won't talk to you? Bye, guys.
Hey, all right. See, Neach. You take care, man.
Bye, Neach.
Stay safe.
Bye, guys. Take care. Stay safe.
Remember, Neach, you can't go to Mango and get the girls. Gotta be inside. Stay safe.
Goodbye.
No